Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another session of Dragonmark Symphony here on Natural One Media. I hate you.
What?
Hi, everyone. My name is Dylan. I am your
What was it?
GM for this. It's fine. It's fine. My name is Dylan. I am your GM for this evening here with my friends as we continue our campaign. It has been a bit of a break. We left off on a somewhat of a high note as our group had finally managed to free themselves from being within the mysterious wizard's tower that they had been inside of within the town of Galt for what feels like forever as they went on a series of misadventures inside of the tower before finally coming face to face with a wizard.
This
Question mark.
Makes it sound way more whimsical and goofy than it.
I'm aiming for whimsical. We're moving in a more whimsical direction for this campaign.
It wasn't whimsical up to that point.
But the group did meet this mysterious individual, and a trade happened. Does anybody remember what trade occurred between you and the wizard?
Yes.
I traded his book to him for information.
Correct. Some of you were asking for specific information about certain events, certain people, and they agreed to provide you some of that information, some of it in the form of an enormous seemingly ancient-looking tome that was given to you that used to belong to whom?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit. It used to belong to... Didn't it used to belong to the wizard himself? The wizard of the tower?
Yes, and what was his name?
That's a great question. I had his name right here. I shall look for name.
Cressius.
That
Bingo, there you go.
That one.
Are you telling me that Cressius proposed a trade?
No, Cressius is dead, dude.
Fuck.
The guy we were talking to was a guy named Erebus.
I'm already
But the
losing
book
control.
belonged.
So,
You're really settling in the joke there, Franny.
Franny, thank you for getting us back on track. You said, sorry, Erebus? Who's that?
Erebus.
The guy that convinced Lorgar to join the realms of chaos, which would eventually mean. Oh wait, no, we're talking about this game. He was the
silly.
wizard
You're mixing up our podcasts.
Yeah. He was the wizard who happened to be at the top of the tower in Cressius's domain, or I don't know, his room. His wizard's den. I don't know what to.
Sometimes I call my room my domain.
And as we kind of already alluded to, had Cressius's book, and then proceeded to, in terms of talking about that, talk about his intentions in a really sketchy way. Which meant that Set asked him one important question.
Remain or Battleborn.
Balls in the air.
It's fine. You all, after you all, it's okay. You all encountered. It's okay.
Like the Detroit Pistons.
It's okay.
The NBA? Is that like the WNBA but all dudes?
Guys, it's okay.
Just let him speak.
You left the tower. And after a quick debriefing with the sheriff of the town, you continued on your way. You had been in Galt for far longer than you had anticipated. Yes, it's my fault. And now you were finally able to continue on the path that you were originally on before, trying to reach the great city of Passage, where some of you have business to attend to, and others are looking for new opportunities, new place to go after everything that had happened in the city of Rote. So we're going to do a little bit of a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey skip here. But before we do that, I need all of you to roll a d20 for me.
Interesting.
Skip.
Do.
Just like a couple days worth, nothing crazy.
Specifically,
Okay.
like, are we fast traveling? Is that what like meant to allude to?
Yeah, think of it as like fast traveling. Yeah.
I got a 6.
I had 19.
Jeez.
Okay.
16.
How do you do custom rolls on D&D Beyond?
There's a little tab in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah.
That's like a little
Oh,
dice.
perfect.
Little tab
On
we
that,
do.
no, you can select which dice.
Little tab. we
Sorry,
do.
Franny, you want to repeat your result again?
16.
I heard you wrong.
I got a
I thought you said
6.
60 something, as in like
Oh.
you rolled on the chart.
Done this
Yeah,
right.
we-
And I was like,
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Let me get that chart pulled up.
Right.
I was like, how? Are we
I rolled
starting
a
this way?
6.
No, it's a TC6 Ichijoroku.
Okay.
That's all the languages I know.
Yeah, 16, 19.
Fine. At least a 6. Six is
And
chill.
our last D20 roll from Kevin, I believe.
I rolled a 6.
Set dies again.
Okay. No, that's good. You passed the threshold. Your carriage, which is being ran by 2 lovely horses that have been accompanying you on your journey so far,
Yeah.
manages to make the remainder of the journey without issue. It seems as though after all of the misfortune and, ridiculous, horrible events that you've had to kind of go through in the past few days, it feels like suddenly things are taking a turn for the better. The weather is behaving. It's nice and sunny outside, with just like the perfect amount of cloud cover. The roads are largely unfettered. You don't run into any bandits or anything along the way. The carriage itself remains in great condition. It ends up being a largely uneventful journey for the last couple of days here as you make your way over to Passage. And it doesn't feel like a very long time at all before you can see in the distance on a fine morning, think about 10 a.m. or so in our world. The sun is already fully out, having risen a few hours before. Set, I believe you had mentioned that you were going to be up front of the carriage while the others were inside.
On top of it, yeah.
Up on top of it, yes.
Excellent. Up front. At the
Dax up at the reins. Okay, yep.
When Johannes is not teaching him how to cook. Because I
Yeah.
remember us
Yes,
mentioning
that was mentioned as kind of some of the downtime you wanted to do was that you would begin teaching how to cook, which is a great thing to teach. All of you can see, with the sun clearly showing in the sky, that not too far in the distance, looming closer, an enormous gray wall with tinges of gold running through it. Before you've even come close to it, you see fields and fields of grain and crops being tended to by farmers on either side. Some of them give a quick wave as you go by. You are passed by on the right-hand side by several appear to be knights in full armor on horses. Some of them just sort of give you a curt bow as they are moving through. Most of them have swords, though a couple of them have these like enormous halberds that they're just sort of resting on their shoulders as they travel past. You begin to get closer and closer to the city, and as you do, you can see that there's just these huge swaths of farmland, grain, and what appears to be a winery field, similar to what is commonly seen closer to Galt. And there's just all these people that are working on things. Set, you have to fight for a moment to kind of keep your balance as something like rushes by the carriage and like shakes it. All of you inside the carriage, you suddenly feel as the carriage is shooken back and forth as if it was in like a windstorm. And with your very perceptive eye set, you see this blur go by you as one of these field workers rushes by on what appears to be almost like a wind sail that you would normally use on the water, but they're sailing about a foot off of the ground. This enormous wooden board with like mechanical equipment at the back and this sort of like energy powered generator, a thruster with kinetic arcane energy bursting out of it, rushes by you, twisting their body as they hold on to ropes that are attached to this like large semi-translucent sail at the front of the windboard, and just like curve around in a wide arc. And as they do, they come over some of the fields and they grab this like basket from down by their feet and levitate it out to their side. And as they zip and zoom through the fields, the basket just like collects all these vegetables that have been growing in the field until it's completely full. And then they just magic it back up onto their shoulder as they whip around, fishtail, spin back the other way. And you hear as a few more of them come by on the other side, just sort of maneuvering through these fields of vegetables, just deftly grabbing all the vegetables, all the produce that they can. And you get closer and closer to the main gates of this enormous city. And you can see as you get closer that they're towering a good 15, 20 feet over you. Enormous gates of the southern wall that are being guarded. You can immediately see overhead that there are several guards perched up at the top of the wall. And then there are also 2 guards standing at the gates themselves as the carriage approaches. Eventually, Baja and Hush Puppy come to a stop about 15 or so feet away. And you hear Hush Puppy call out to all of you. All right, everyone, you'll have to give your missive to the guards here so that they can let us in.
Do we have a missive?
We did. We got one.
Okay.
From got one from the king, right? Or no, that's for. Gotta consult the notes.
You should indeed have. I can't recall who specifically was holding on to it, but you should have a declaration from the king. It is a decree that grants you passage, to into the nation of Boundair.
Who was holding on to that? I cannot remember.
This is one of those things where, like, I will gladly let anybody say that they had it.
Okay, we were given we were given writs of travel signed by the king himself.
Yes, the rights of travel. Yep.
I feel like since it's plural, I think we might have all gotten one, or instead of like one of us getting one.
It's like a passport.
Yeah, I think that was to the effect that we talked about.
Yeah, something similar to that. It's something of like a diplomatic, rite of passage that allows you to visit these neighboring nations.
Of passage.
It's basically exactly what
yes,
I got in real life when I crossed the Canadian border.
Exactly.
Yes. Though it was far easier to obtain since all you had to do was take back a castle.
Yeah.
Honestly, with how my time...
Am I wrong or am I wrong? Okay.
Order went, I think you're right.
Excuse me. But
yeah, you guys have them, so all you have to do is visit with the guards there. You can present them.
Are those produce, like, is that method of harvesting, is that like normal here?
That is a type of harvesting that you have not seen very often, because these like wakeboards with these for lack of a better term, they themselves are a technology that you are not innately familiar with. It is like, the closest I can describe it is it's like a miniaturized version of like an airship, but obviously using a much smaller thruster, though probably using some sort of similar technology. But yeah, not something that you have seen really all that much back from where you are from.
I just look over at Dak and say, maybe I'll become a farmer when this is all over.
In your head, you hear the benefits of a farmer would definitely be great for a culinary genius as yourself.
Exactly.
Growing
Get a
one's
real
own
salt
crop.
of the earth appreciation for what we're making here. I look over to like what we've made on the trip. I kind of want to see if it's good. I'm gonna roll and see if what we made was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
What can you make with like slightly dried out bread?
Yeah, that's a good.
Because that's all.
Croutons.
That's all Dak has.
I was gonna say croutons.
So
Croutons,
you're gonna go ahead and make a D20 roll for me.
Can I
Alright.
assist him?
And we're actually going to use your sleight of hand modifier on this.
Would he be able to do it with advantage because I was helping him the entire
That's
time?
a
Would he help me?
25.
Oh, never mind. He doesn't.
You were saying. With a 25, Dak is actually it turns out a very adept learner, very quick to learn, and you were able to make, an assortment of small treats. You can, of course, let me know what you ended up making. It's entirely your choice, but it definitely was successful.
I don't know what I really would have on me. Let's say.
Like I said, I have a bunch of different types of bread. And you've got a bunch of seasonings, so maybe, like Seth said, some croutons.
Yeah.
And maybe
That would be honestly, it'd be really funny. It's like, oh man, you absolutely killed it. You made toast.
I mean, you could have made something like, because you have bread, you have access to spices. On this trip, you would have had easy access to grain. You easily could have put together something of like a
bread stew,
or like a bread stew, or maybe even something like a pita bread with like a nice
like a tortilla.
Dip.
Ooh,
yeah. But you are, like I say, surprisingly successful in your endeavor, especially while traveling. You obviously don't have access to a full kitchen, but Dak proves to be very, very quick at figuring out the basics that you teach him.
Oh, well, we will definitely do some more once we have access to a full kitchen, Dak. I hope you're ready.
I'm eager to learn. Thank you, Johannes.
All right. So you, as I said, you're at this gate now. You've got these two guards ahead of you. Both of them heavily clad, full-scale armor, wielding halberds. They, of course, are fully watching the carriage as it has pulled up.
Approximately how long was this travel?
About, I need to check on the map here because we went. It was another 100 miles or so. I would estimate about a day and a half.
Okay. I think after like the first day, Set would have ended up just staying inside the carriage. So I think whoever is up to chatting with the guards, since Dak would be up front, but is literally incapable of speaking to them
Normally,
without making a connection and freaking them the fuck out.
It's a fair point. It's a very fair point.
Dak does look panic, in a slight panic to the rest of the party as we approach the gates.
Yeah, you're the first person they see. So both guards are, they're just kind of locked in with you, waiting expectantly for you to approach or do anything.
All right, let's make our way in. I'll start. Before we go, I'm gonna look over to Hush Puppy and Baja.
I was wondering.
I guess they were muted. Yeah. Where are you two off to now?
Oh, well, we're not going anywhere just yet. You need to give the missives to the guards so they can let us in.
That's what
We still have to take you to the end.
Oh, okay. I thought
given it to them yet?
I thought. My bad.
Like,
Okay, I'm gonna go up to the guard.
Right away?
You were talking to Dak about cooking, and then you just kind of stared off into space for a bit. So we were just waiting patiently for you.
You know what I also realized?
I don't need any lips from you.
Hey, we'll give them the.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't hear that.
That would explain things.
Yeah.
That would explain my own confusion.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna walk up and give him my missive.
All right. As you approach the two guards, one of them steps forward a bit. And he just says, "Morning. Go ahead and state your name and your business, if you'd be so kind."
The name's Johannes. I'm here to enter the city of Passage. I have this missive from the king.
Well, you good Johannes? Which king do you speak of?
The king of Sharn.
Not the king of Sharn. Not the
The,
king of
the
Sharn.
two of the guards kind of look at each other like,
No,
Am I stupid?
I don't
It's the king of breathing.
follow.
Breland. Fuck. Here,
Sharn is
just take
the
this.
city.
it's
Like
a-
you just said.
Yeah, I'm stupid.
you're
Yeah,
the
I'm
king
the
of Los
king of
Angeles.
Milwaukee. Yeah. Sorry. I'm still getting used to the country names.
The guards look at each other. This guy thinks he's the king of queens
Nope.
over here.
Yeah.
Hello,
God damn it.
I am the president of Sacramento.
I just hand him the paper.
Did I seriously not
Thank you.
his name?
And he takes the paper from you, unfolds the scroll, takes a look at it. DM Trev, and the other guard comes forward, waves a hand over top of the paper, and you see it kind of illuminates for a
You want
moment.
to be immediately arrested.
You understand we must check for counterfeit letters of mark. It is standard procedure.
Of course.
Just kind of waves the hand over, both of them are observing it.
King Bornell.
The signatures here appear legitimate.
They are.
He folds back up the scroll, hands it back to you.
Thanks. Can we go now?
How many others are traveling with you?
Over. I just point to the chair,
Come on,
the
everybody,
chariot.
Let's all turn our papers in.
I'm afraid we'll need everyone out of the carriage so that we can see them.
Everybody, papers, please.
Papers, please.
Yeah, just step out and
So
present the
everyone just hands
missive.
off their missives. They'll go ahead. They're going to investigate them.
Oh.
None of
second.
them. Sure. None of them are illegitimate, which I'm sure is.
I would sure hope so.
relief.
Hope not.
if they weren't, there'd be a lot of questions.
Be like, God
But
damn,
no.
this king.
The king.
Who was that guy then?
Yeah, so they all appear legitimate. Everyone, you have your missive handed back to you. The second of the guard, Timitrev, he, as they are examining the missives, you notice that he looks to the two horses, and Hush Puppy kind of gives him like a nod, sort of like. And when she does that, Dimitriv, the eyes widen a little bit, and you see like a brief flash of something around the mouth, and he starts speaking, but you don't understand what it is that he's saying, but it's like a series of like exhales and like mouth movements and sounds. If somebody wants to make an Arcana check, they can.
I
probably
will absolutely do that.
Also, sorry, I stepped away. I thought my wife got hurt, but they were just really
Jesus.
excited at Persona 3.
Hell yeah.
A common.
I just heard a yell, and I was like, "Is
If
everything
I-
okay?" And
If I had a nickel for every time I thought someone was injured, but they were actually dealing with the midnight hour, it's just
yeah, it just happens.
I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened
What
twice.
are we rolling for again? Sorry.
This is an Arcana check,
So it should not be me, unless we can all roll for
but
it.
not the Fool's Arcana because that's Persona.
The dough means by which all is revealed.
An amazing roll.
By God, Michael.
Can we all roll for this, or just one person?
Oh yeah, no, this is for everybody.
I mean,
Not
depending
great.
on your skill in Arcana.
It's not
Mhm.
amazing. I got an 11.
Oh no, you rolled higher than me. By one,
Yeah.
but it's still more.
What is my Arcana modifier? I'll roll Arcana.
Go for it. Threshold
Yeah.
on this is 10. It's not super high.
Got a 13.
So at least I still pass.
Yeah, so a couple of you do notice, though you maybe haven't cast the spell very often, it appears to be some sort of a variation on Speak with Animals. And the guardsman is actually talking with the horses directly, but instead of using common, which the horses are capable of doing because they've been speaking with you,
Mhm.
it appears that he is actually using a variant on Speak with Animals to converse with the horses in their language. Though your personal experience with the Elden horse language is very limited.
I would say so.
Yeah.
That tracks.
The second guard, he sort of is talking with them in this language, and then he sort of reaches out, gives Hush Puppy and Baja like a bit of a side pat, and then he goes back over to the side of the gate there where he was positioned, and he pulls out a small little sack and brings it back over, and you see that he's got a sack of oats with him, and he takes them out and he feeds the horses some of the oats, while the first officiant is checking your paperwork. Once that's checked, everything is good to go. He says, all right, as you have these rights from King Boronel, please consider yourselves guests in our fine city. We, of course, ask that whatever business you have here, you conduct it within the confines of our established laws. Do not hesitate to ask for assistance. And please understand that even under the King's missive, if you are to cause significant trouble or harm to our citizens, we will still, of course, have to act accordingly.
Dak is going to communicate to Silva. Lady Silva, could you ask them where a reputable place to rest might be?
Say that again.
Could you perhaps ask them where a reputable place to rest may be?
Wait, you said that? Who did you say that to?
Why?
To Silva.
Silva.
Silva. Okay.
Oh yeah. So, are there any inns you could recommend?
The main guard speaks up. Oh yes, there are multiple here in our city. Well, I suppose it depends on the monetary status that you carry. But you would do well to. Sorry,
We're
I
like
have to-
extremely well off. I don't say that. This is above board, but aren't we all like? We have like a lot of money, don't we?
We
Right, but they don't know that.
Yeah, I know.
also we don't look like it.
Yeah, I know.
If you were to go past Zenith Shore, up by the all-geared docks, there is an inn there, actually, where they have fairly reasonable rates, a lot of rooms. And as he says that, Baja actually turns his head around to kind of look at all y'all. Jaw is perfect. That's actually where we're going anyway.
Dude. Oh,
Yeah,
so
the
Italy.
the restaurant place that you're going to, that's actually the inn that he's talking about.
Oh.
We'll take you right to it.
Is the guard caught off guard by by them speaking?
No. Which you are all of a high enough intelligence level to surmise that, like, if he had the foresight to cast a spell to have a full conversation with the horses, that means that he picked up on them being, more than just like your typical equine in the first place. And likely in their conversation, they probably relayed or sort of confirmed that amongst each other.
I was talking more about the other guard that didn't have the conversation with them.
No, they're even him. There's still not really like a read of surprise or anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then that works out perfectly.
All right. When you get past the gates here, you'll see the main courtyard. When you first come in, you can take a route through the western ward. That will get you up to the shore, which is where we have an enormous marketplace. And past there is going to be the Augier Docks. Right on the water side there's this enormous inn. You cannot miss it. It has a large red roof, very bright, recently painted. And I suppose you can go there if you need a place to stay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do mind the noise, though. We're getting close to the sun's at its highest point, which means a lot of airships will be docking at the nearby station. Don't worry, though. They never get close enough to pose any kind of a flight risk.
Great. Thank you for the heads up.
And with that, Dimitri, I can't whistle like that. He whistles up to the guards up above, and a few of them move, and the gates slide sideways into the adjacent walls, as opposed to like opening inward or outward. And they kind of slide aside. And you can already see, just sort of looking through this massive courtyard they're talking about, that is just filled with people, all kinds of people walking through. And the guards say, "All right, you are free to enter. Welcome to the city of Passage. May the sovereign keep you safe, and be on your way."
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
What did they say the inn restaurant's name was again?
They didn't.
Gotcha.
I believe it's the Four Sails.
Incorrect.
What?
3 sales.
The Four Sails is a thing, but that's not.
Oh, sorry. I think I took these notes in like June of like 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, that would track, actually. Yeah. That might be the last time the Four Sails was mentioned.
Yeah. I did lose like half of my notes
Oh no.
because they're on my old PC.
No, the Four Sails is a restaurant, but it was a restaurant that you were previously at.
I didn't
this
get
one.
the job at. Yeah. I actually did. I don't think they told me the name of the. I know Milo Marigold was like the name of the guy that they wanted me to work for,
Yes.
but I don't know if they told me the name. If they did, I don't have the note anymore, so I will have to find out later.
As we start going to the city, anything of note as we're moving through the streets?
Yeah. No, we will go ahead and enter. And as we do, I will get our music started.
Ooh. I can mute my own music.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, that's what I was listening to.
Somebody say Meatloaf. All right. The passing through the gate, you are greeted by an absolute swell of warmth and people and color and light. The buildings surrounding you look as though they have existed for hundreds of years, but they are in great condition. There are people moving, hustling out and about all over. Many of them, the families, workers, knights, mages, all sorts, moving all about in different ways. It's chaos, but it's like a weirdly organized chaos. And sprawled out before you is this immense courtyard with these like extremely detailed engravings on the ground. You can see that every 5 to 10 feet or so are these magical glyphs, and every 30 seconds, people moving in and out, teleporting from the glyphs, moving here and there, to and fro. You see children playing with these like round hoops that are rolling across the ground, and the children wave their hands and the hoops pop up magically into the air, and another child, a quick wave of their hand and a smaller hoop pops up, and they try to get it to pass through the larger hoop, and they just miss it, and the children burst out into laughter, and they grab the hoops and reposition them and send them off again. A large dog is sort of running around, barking at their heels, chasing them. You see a woman carrying a bundle of newspapers, calling out. As somebody raises their hand, she snaps her fingers, and as she does, a newspaper flies from the bundle that she's carrying and just magically finds its way to whichever person had raised their hand for one. There are merchants and practicing wizards, students, all kinds of people that are just sort of moving, hustling and bustling about. And as you approach, just ahead of you, there is this enormous clock tower, like dozens and dozens and dozens of feet into the sky, with an enormous clock positioned right up at the top of it. At the base, there are people gathered around, groups communicating. You see a group of school children being led by a teacher, sort of walking past, and the teacher sort of gesturing to things, showing them, and all these little school kids in little witches' hats are following behind. Some of them are holding little moleskin notebooks with quills that are magically writing out notes for them without them having to lift a finger. And let's get you to... where did... Oh! Did we lose the loop function? That's interesting. All right. Never mind. Yes, you see these school children go by. At the base of this enormous clock tower, there are these two very large sapphire-like illuminated stones sitting on pedestals. And you see a person sort of walk up to the one on the left. They reach their hand out and touch it, and as they do, the person themselves, their skin becomes blue, like they are illuminated in blue. And they speak something, like as if they're talking to nobody. And then once they're finished talking, they just release their hand, their skin color returns to normal, and the rock just sort of diminishes. A mother and her child approach the stone on the right-hand side, and the child calling to the mother, Mother, where should we go next? Where do we go? And the mother just says, sorry, child, touch the stone. And the two of them place their hands on the stone, and similarly, their bodies are sort of briefly illuminated for a moment. And the child goes, I can see a map in my mind. And she goes, that's right, now let's follow it. And she sort of hurries him along. your carriage sort of pulling into the courtyard here then takes a left and sort of winds its way through and sort of winds its way through all of these different buildings of varying sizes, apartment buildings, hutches, single story, multi-story buildings of all kinds. Many of them have roofs that are painted different colors, mixes of brown and red and blue. And it's just this incredible diversity of color compared to Rote, which had this very like uniform sort of rigidness to the streets. So they were very clean, you know, but there was this like very uniform way. All the roads were very similar to each other. Whereas here, it's almost more like this sprawling spider web of all these different buildings and routes and back alleys. The carriage takes you through these buildings, all through the Western Ward, looking up. A ship the size of a galleon with an enormous ring around it, arcane energy sparking off from within, sails overhead, and the airship travels forward, landing at, you can see what appears to be like an island sort of in the middle of the city, surrounded by water on almost all sides. And there's this enormous golden building with red strips, almost like a tarmac, and airships are coming into port and landing at the building. You continue to travel through the Western Ward, and eventually you find yourselves in what must be Zenith Shore, as you are now being surrounded by these large markets, crowds of people moving from booth to booth, enormous cloth, canvas-covered marketplaces that are filled with all kinds of various items, lots of produce that's been harvested from the nearby fields. There are fresh meats, poultry, there is weapons, armor. You can see that there is like an alchemist sort of posted up nearby. Lots of merchants traveling back and forth between all of them, extremely busy. And the horses are just sort of very, you know, cordially and graciously making their way through until eventually you reach, heading further north, you're coming up on these docks on the left side. And on this side, where the docks are positioned, you can see the clear blue waters of Lake Galifar, which is one of the largest lakes in the entire continent of Corvair, not just within the nation, like the entire continent. Lake Galifar, this enormous lake that seems to spread out for miles. There are dozens and dozens of ships speculated across the water. Some people are fishing. There's larger merchant ships that are clearly doing trade. You can see that a ship has just come into port and is docking already. Sailors are working to transfer large crates of items from the ship down to some of the workers below. One of them shouting out, "Fresh material from the Eldin Reaches. We got to get this to the capital right away." And just hauling it off. Not too far from there, Hush Puppy says, "All right, Diaz. That must be the building." And you see ahead of you this enormous inn, multi-story with a bit of a high tower on the left side. The roof is all painted red, but you can see that there's like specks of yellow underneath, as if it used to be a yellow roof and was painted, but they didn't do like a full job on painting it. There is an enormous double wide tavern door at the front of the inn. And there is a sign hanging up next to it that says, "Visitors welcome, name to be determined."
So there is no name.
And there is a stable just nearby. with a couple of horses already pulled up there. And Baha and Hush Puppy bring the carriage around back in by the stable where there's ample parking. You know how city parking is. And
Don't.
Hush Puppy looks to all of you and says, "All right, dears, I believe this is our stop. Everybody out."
I guess I'll hop out.
Likewise.
Where are you two? What's next on the agenda for the fabulous duo here?
Well, we've actually already been contracted to provide a lift for another adventuring party, as a matter of fact. So we're going to be heading back south. We do hope to see you again someday, though.
You too. Thank you for. I feel like we all have signed up for a little, or gotten a little more than we signed up for, and you took it in stride, literally.
Yes, indeed. It was certainly couldn't say it was a stress-free journey, but we've all gotten here safe, and that's what matters. Isn't that right, Baha? Baha says, "Sure, dude."
Telepathically to both Baha and Hush Puppy, one of the other, of course, because my mind is limited to what they are capable of. Dak does say, "It has been a pleasure to be on this road with you, on this path, and may your ongoing path, although it diverts from our own, go smoothly and without any instances of danger."
Baha sagely nods, and in your head you hear, "Cha, dude. May your oats always be fresh and your hooves always clean, my guy."
Dak is going to do something that he doesn't do to regular humanoids. He's going to actually place a hand on Baha and like affectionately headbutt him. And he does the same thing to Hush Puppy.
Goodbye, dear.
Be well.
Be safe. Be safer, please, if you can.
Oh, if we could try.
If that was said out loud, then Set would say, "No promises, but we'll do our best."
It's all we can do, right, Hush Puppy? Chadu.
Stay frosty, brother.
And with that, the horses bid their farewell, and they continue on their way. You see them sort of bring the carriage around and head back into the marketplace, and within a few minutes, they are out of sight.
Feels strange having them gone.
Indeed.
To appear as if we are now slower.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I believe
You and I both have to go see the same person.
we have a meeting with the Mr. Marigold.
Importantly, after seeing this, somebody's. I have an elf whose ass needs kicking.
What about the two of you?
I'll be figuring out some things, getting some intel. Primarily why I was coming here in the first place. Make sure to do my best to stay out of any potential house agents.
Dak's going to rub the spot where he still has the necklace of that one stone that's invisible.
Hmm.
And he's going to telepathically say to Johannes, I have no plans at the moment. Would it be beneficial to stay with all of you?
I wouldn't mind the company, Dak. Feel free to come with. Can at least find a room to stay with while we meet with our friend.
Dak, if you'd like to roll an intelligence check for me, there might be something you are forgetting. Unless you just aren't mentioning it. I don't want to step on any toes.
So good. That's a 17.
Okay. So let me get this pulled up here. So when Nathaniel left, if you recall, before Nathaniel left, he had charged you with a package that he was originally needing to deliver to a Mr. Neil Nielsen, who was expected to also be here in the city of Passage. Nathaniel had asked if you could please deliver the package to Mr. Nielsen in his stead.
Oh. Dak remembers that all too late. But now he has a plan. He does tell this to the rest of the party. I'm just taking a moment to write down the name.
Okay, so you do tell them that you're delivering a package to a Neil Nielsen?
Yes.
Do you have any idea who or where this Neil Nielsen might be?
Dak shakes his head no.
Okay, maybe someone at the inn will know.
I mean,
If anyone wants
best
to make
get
a-
in there before we even attempt to get to Milo, giving that we should settle ourselves our place to stay.
I'm gonna be late for work at this rate.
If anyone wants to make a history check on the
At
name
that
Neil
statement,
Nielsen,
I will just give you like the most sarcastic, like, just that like that almost just like staring down over the top of my glasses.
I got a 22.
I've got an 85.
Oh no.
Was it what roll?
I wasn't even fishing for this.
I've got a 19.
What roll?
History, my guy.
History check. Silva, you roll this with advantage.
Okay, sick. I'll hopefully do better than my 8 then.
Dak has a mustache
At least
again
replaced with
for
the
like a
base
week.
Roll of an 8. Sick.
The three of you, Johannes, Dak, and Set. Actually, strike that, reverse it. Johannes and Dak. The name isn't really conjuring anything for you.
Okay.
Not right off the bat. Dak, you know the name because you know that's who you have to deliver the package to, but you don't know really anything about the person.
Right.
Set, you think you've heard the name before from your brief residency in the city of Sharn.
Okay.
Silva, you met Neil Nielsen.
You
Dun,
met
dun,
him.
dun.
And let's see, what was that roll on the natural one? That was
An 85.
85. You. Sorry. This requires I have to keep track of something here. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Dak, as you were trying to recall further information about who Neil Nielsen might be, something floating through the air just like smacks you in the face out of nowhere.
Can I see what that something was?
Yeah, you kind of like grab it out of your face to see, and it appears to be, it's about the size of a playing card, or like a tarot card even, a little bit larger. And there is imagery on it of a knight, this like highly decorated knight in the middle of battle.
Wait, didn't we have that one person that collected these tarot cards?
Maybe.
So it's a tarot card with a knight on it.
Mm. And you get it for free because you rolled what you rolled.
Yay. Dak looks at it and then puts it away, and we'll regard it later.
All right. So with that settled, what do y'all do?
We're gonna go in.
All right. Entering into this enormous inn, you are greeted to a large entryway and kind of like general lounge area, enormous tables. It almost immediately brings up memories of the cow's eye to your senses, though seemingly even a little bit larger in scale. There are more like lounge furniture, like couches, compared to like the many tables that you had seen before. And there is two right off to the left. There's like this enormous tabletop bar. Behind it, you imagine must be like an enormous kitchen. And there is a set of stairs towards the back leading up into the upper levels. There is a large fireplace at the right, and you can see that sitting at the fireplace is a reptilian-like creature with small wings on the back of it and a long draconic snout. It's kind of curled up like a dog over by the fireplace, and as it inhales and exhales, a small jet of fire shoots out from its mouth and keeps the fireplace lit aflame. If anybody wants to make a animal handling check, they can possibly identify what creature this is.
I wanna.
Absolutely.
17.
It's gonna be a 10.
I also got a 10.
I wanna.
17, 10, 10. And yeah. No roll from Silva.
What am I adding again?
It's just an animal handling check.
14.
14. Yeah, you all pass. You all can see, though it's up to you how much experience you have with this creature, that this is actually a pseudo dragon.
That's fun.
The most lethal dragons, because they can go up your butt and then expand, and then that's how you kill Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
I will remove you from this campaign. You see that there are like 5 or 6 patrons that are currently in the inn, sitting at various tables. One of them is kind of propped up in the corner on a rocking chair with a large newspaper completely covering their person. Another one has a wand, and they appear to be practicing some sort of spellcraft on the table. They're moving like a few assorted like teacups around on the table. At the bar, there is a young woman, looks to be in about like her early 20s, hair tied back in a ponytail, holding a large broom. And she's got her shoulder up, leaned up against the bar. And on the other side of it, currently in the process of polishing a glass, is an enormous female orc who stands towering over her by like a good foot or so. Also has the hair kind of brought back a bit, wearing kind of like a band to keep the hair pulled back from her face. Very large lower jaw with two bottom teeth, sharp teeth that protrude upward. The two of them seem to be kind of in conversation with each other.
Where do you think we go, Silva? Is there anyone who, like, I guess I could go to the bar. I don't know where, if there's like an attendant watching the front door. You know what? I'm just gonna go to the first person I see that I make eye contact with, like near the front of the entrance, and ask, "Do you happen to know Mr. Marigold? My friend and I have a meeting to see them."
The person sitting at a nearby table says, "Oh, he owns the inn. You want to talk to the young lady at the bar there?" She just kind of points to the young woman with the broom.
All right, I'm gonna head over there.
Dak will follow.
As you approach the young woman and the work, they notice you coming forward, and the young woman kind of snatches her broom up a bit and goes, "Oh, yes, hi, sorry, welcome to the inn. Is there anything we can help you with? Would you like some food, a place to stay? How can we help you?" Yeah.
Yeah, you can help me find Mr. Marigold. My friend and I, we have appointments with him in some sense of the word.
Oh, yeah. Let me just call him Uncle Milo. She just kind of calls out to above. You all hear faintly off in the distance, just some sort of like a guffaw noise. And then you see as a man draped in ornate robes slides down the baluster of the stairs, just like slowly slides down in like this extravagant pose before magically hopping off at the end and landing at the base of the stairs, and does a curt little bow. Several of the patrons just sort of politely clap their hands before returning to whatever it is they're doing.
I give a big applause.
The man sort of straightens his robes out with a flourish and looks to all of you and says, "Did somebody say me?" Uncle Milo, these people are here. I guess they have an appointment with you? And he says, "Ha ha, of course they do, Ness. Why wouldn't they?" And he sort of strides forward. You see this man now in clarity. Purple and gold robes, very fashionable, very bright face, human in appearance, a well-kept beard, golden, and a mess of tangled lion's mane hair, brilliant blue eyes, very pronounced eyebrows, and just this immensely devilish smile across the face. He strides towards all of you and says, "Yes, well, welcome, and also welcome. How can I be of assistance today? My name is Milo Marigold, and you have stumbled upon my inn."
Oh, hello, Milo. My name is Johannes. Do you happen to have known a woman named Calgary?
Oh my goodness. He kind of bends over, peers down at you a bit.
Go look up. Is he like Jack too?
He's not jacked. He's
Okay.
he's not frail. He's kind of in that sort of mid thing. Like he eats well. But he's not like particularly jacked. You can assume that as the owner of the inn, he's probably not doing a lot of the manual labor.
Yeah.
My goodness. Did you just say Calgary?
That's who I said. Yes.
That is fantastic, my dear boy. Who is that?
Head chef over at the Four Sails.
Oh yes, the Four Sails in the city of Sharn, right? Yes, south of us. Yes. Well, yes, I definitely know who you're talking about now. Yes. Tell me, why did she send you here?
Well, she said that you were looking for a new chef, and I am in need of work with a long resume of being a chef. Sorry, you're like very... I love your robes.
Thank you. I own them.
But yes, she told me she would call ahead, I believe. This was...
I didn't get anything in the communication crystal this morning. Ness, were there any missed calls today? And the young girl just sort of back to leaning on the counter. No, Uncle, hadn't gotten any calls in the communication stone today.
Well, it might not have been exactly today. It might have been...
You said you were a chef, my dearest boy.
Yes, I am.
Does that mean that you can cook food, delicacies, feasts?
I've been told that I have been known to procure delicatessens.
And you said you're here for a job. You wanted to work here at the inn as a chef, is that correct?
An exchange of services for payment, due labor and all of that, 401k compensation.
Course. Oh, of course.
Well, negotiable, but...
That's fantastic, my dear boy. Kind of claps his hands together. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I'll have you know that I just hired someone yesterday.
Are you sure? Are they good at being a chef?
I'm pretty sure I did. I did sign paperwork at some point. Let's ask them. Head chef, could you please come out for a moment? And a figure emerges from out behind the counter, past New York. You see a man, humanoid male, elf-like ears, sort of comes around. He's holding this enormous mixing bowl with something in it, currently in the process of stirring. He has this large apron on, and slightly narrow features to the face, light in the eyes. And as he comes out around the corner, you notice that one of his legs has been replaced with a prosthetic made of brass. And Thomas Winleaf comes around the corner holding this large mixing bowl and looks to all of you and says, "Oh my goodness, if it isn't the friends of Silva," and he meets eyes with you, Silva. And Silva, hello. You made it. That is wonderful.
Wait,
Is Marshall muted?
He might
Marshall might be muted. Selma, come back to us. I know the shock's too great.
When we got into the chef thing, I started really looking into something else.
It became the Peanuts parents talk.
Hyper-distracted myself.
Now is not the time for distractions. You have ass kicking to do.
Okay, so obviously
Yes, so Thomas Winleaf comes around the counter, holding a large mixing bowl, and looks to you all with a face full of shock and happiness, of course, mixed in there. You all made it. That's wonderful. It's fantastic. I don't know if you had heard already, but Silva, the position. Remember the friend I told you about? I have the job. I am the head chef here at the inn.
Crossing my
I'm like fuming.
only one.
Yes, Master Windleaf here certainly proved himself right away. He cooked me an entire banquet using some of the salmon from the nearby lake, and I must say, not only did it taste good, but it was also delicious. So I had no choice but to hire him immediately.
Can I ask how you prepared the salmon?
Thomas is going to insight check you.
If he just says butter, I'm going to laugh.
He stops mixing in the mixing bowl and he makes eye contact with you. And there's a flash of like recognition, chef to chef.
Mm-hmm.
And you see kind of like a curtness come across his face as he goes, "Oh, you know, the usual, plenty of salt and pepper and various other secrets.
Mm.
I don't share my salmon recipe with just anyone, you know."
I look at him.
I
a little
whisper-
more inquisitively.
I whisper over to Dak. He's good.
Except for you, Silva. Of course, I would share it with you.
Dad can almost see the lightning going between Thomas's eyes and Johannes's eyes.
Yeah.
As kind of under the table, I'm gonna like kind of whisk my hands around and cast Druidcraft.
Druidcraft?
Essentially make the bowl begin to just have like a very kind of dank smell. It is like a faint, just gross smell coming from it.
Yeah, this is pretty dank.
Thomas immediately picks up on this like foreign scent and is just like, "Oh, okay, perhaps I stirred this a bit too much," and he kind of takes it back around behind the counter. "I'll just set this over here under a thing for now."
Making some sort of a mud pie over there?
No. It is my secret salmon recipe that I do not share with just anyone. And Milo laughs and says, "Yes, we must keep these things a secret, especially when it's that delicious and made with fresh roe and a bit of rosemary." And Thomas kind of shoots him a look like, Yes, indeed."
Looks like it was fresh now, was it?
I suppose not. Silva, so now that we're both here, Milo has generously offered to provide work here for the both of us. Remember when we talked in the Anvil, the opportunity, they've been looking for a proper head chef for a while now, and I will actually be able to request work with the local Fishermen's Guild as well. If you're interested, you would be more than welcome to join me. We did come here together after all, and we can start anew here.
What did we? I think I recall entering this town with 3 other people. How together were we when we arrived in this town? I feel like I remembered coming here minutes ago rather than a day ago, or more than that.
We're going to make an intelligence check to see if he is too stupid to pick up on this. Oh, thank God he's not. Yes, so Thomas picks up on the intonation of your voice and goes, right, I did leave a bit early. I'm sorry for doing that and not telling you right away. That was. Could I speak with you over there for a moment?
I don't know. Could I go over there? Or do you feel like we need to go into a different direction?
A big audible gulp. Johannes. Hey, Dak, wow, what's over here? We should go check out some of the tables over here.
Are we all here?
Yeah,
Or was this just what they were doing?
That's a great question, person playing in this game. You decide if you're here or not.
No, I didn't know if this was just like, this is the place that they dropped us off at, and it just so happened to be the place that Silva and Johannes had to go
correct.
to.
Yeah, the original instructions given to the horses were to take you to this building, yes.
That makes sense. Then Set is sitting back at a table and just like has rations out and is just like eating and just watching this all go down.
When Johannes says, hey, look at that, Dak, Dak looks to him and in his head says, but Johannes, I want to see Lady Silva absolutely eviscerate the men.
The best part is that you can get away with saying this.
That's true.
I just nod.
I do pull out my my blank leather bound book that I found at some point. I start writing something in it, but that's for later.
I'm sensing extreme levels of tension in the room all of a sudden. Is this something that I said specifically?
No. Your fault.
Good. I hate when things are my fault. It happens far too often.
Don't worry. Definitely.
This man is an absolute joy.
Fucking love Milo.
Now then, so we have our head chef. Unless the newly arrived chef wants to challenge them to a duel, I'll have to ask if there's any other services that we can provide you with today.
Do you provide chef dueling?
Oh,
here at
yes.
this establishment?
How else does one chef determine supremacy over another?
Well then, I challenge you to a cook-off.
You hear gasps from the patrons of the inn. Very well. Mr. Winleaf, do you accept the challenge? And Thomas sort of looks over and is like, I'm sorry, what was happening? I was in the middle of something.
You're being challenged. That's it for you.
He kind of looks to Milo. Would it be too off to have multiple chefs at your establishment? I'm not entirely sure why one of us needs to challenge the other. If there's been some sort of misunderstanding as far as the availability of this position, I don't want to impose on anyone. And
I'm
Milo
not sure
says,
Milo, a head chef, would have the gumption to fight for their position. It's sounding more like a sous chef to me.
oh, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like you're demeaning him.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time he hasn't fought for something.
Master Winleaf, it appears that the challenger is using complex cooking vernacular in your direction. Are you going to stand there and take that? And Thomas is just like, I'm sorry, what is happening right now? Okay.
You are being attacked on two fronts.
Clearly.
One from an emotional stance and one from a
culinary one, and I whip out a whisk.
More gasps from the crowd. For some reason, there are now more people in the inn, even though you didn't see them come in through the door at all. There are just suddenly
They're all
more
here
people
now.
there. Oh my goodness, he's challenged him to a duel. Oh my god, there's like whispers among the crowd.
Dak is next to set at this point, just eating croutons.
Set is also utilizing minor illusion every now and then to like add to like the dramatics going on,
Like spotlights and stuff.
I heard Thomas Winley was the little bitch.
just slight like the sparks or like effects going off behind them as they're conversing, like when Johannes whips the whisk out, just like a splash of light as he pulls it out. And
No, I love the concept of Dak using his telekinet or telepathicness to like put in the mind of somebody but like almost like they think like they heard it from the back of their mind, like they heard it from behind them or something.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I heard he's a little bitch.
You can see there's like a noticeable like bit of anxiousness now coming across Thomas's face. He's clearly not prepared for any of this to happen whatsoever.
If Dak were to telepathically say anything, it wouldn't be that. It would be because Dak is Dak. He would say, "I've heard that Thomas Winley was a bad cook." Something. I hear he smells.
I heard he's a stinky person.
I hear he doesn't wash his hands after going to the bathroom.
Wait, do any of us have a sink? Or sinks to think?
What? What'd you say?
I'm just playing on fantasy shit of being like, do we have sinks?
Of course you do. We have airships. We must have sinks and indoor plumbing. Right, Dylan?
We can build.
Yes, we do.
I like the concept of we build these amazing airships, have developed, these.
Listen, when you have war that extends over a century, you got to prioritize some things over others.
Right. Year 987, the first airship is made. Year 1053, the first toilet is installed.
That's not good. The current year is 999. That is a ways away. But yes, you see Milo sort of grandly gestures with his hand. All right, then, so be it. It will be an epic duel between these two to determine who will be the head chef of our kitchen. Are there any other stakes that we want to lay down now before the rumble starts?
In Milo's head, I go, only the steak that would be cooked.
I don't know who said that, but that was a good pun. I enjoy puns. They're a low-effort humor that even I can appreciate.
He says that out loud, having the room been silent, and no one said anything.
It sounds completely
Set, you
crazy.
do see Dak just like fist bump, like a
Yes. Thomas looks to you, Johannes. I don't know that I have anything else I really want to put on the line. I feel like I'm more than happy to just work with you in the kitchen. More hands is always a good thing.
Your spatula or your life. We'll see if you truly know your bourguignon from your bibimbap.
Whoa, Johannes. I don't think we need to kill anyone here.
No.
after this, he'll wish he was dead.
I'll just break the death stare I've had and just be like, okay, hold on.
We were going with the escalation, and okay.
As Set says that, he slightly gestures, and the words "little bitch baby" appear behind Thomas.
Um, Ness sort of rolls her eyes from the counter, and just goes, "Uncle, can we please not do this before somebody gets killed again?"
Again?
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 Milo goes, "Again? Oh, right, I would know about this. Yes, well, there's no need to worry about that. This will just be a friendly competition. And at the end, everyone will get a prize. How about that?"
I can agree to that.
Thomas says, "Yes, that is preferable to death. Absolutely." And Milo says, "Excellent. So, here's how this is going to work. The two of you are each going to prepare a dish for our fine patrons here at the inn." And you see everybody sort of breaks into like a small smattering of applause, like, "Yeah, woo, free food. Oh, excellent." I shall be eating the food as well. Whichever food I decide is the best, along with the patrons here, shall be declared the winner.
That tracks.
Okay. I
Excellent.
agree to those terms.
Now here's the spicy part. And he gestures sort of out towards the back of the inn. The two of you aren't allowed to use any of the current meat and seafood in the kitchen. You must go procure it from Lake Galifar.
Thumbs up. I just give a hesitant thumbs up.
Thomas goes, I'm almost finished preparing the mackerel. It'll be done within the hour. I would hate to have it spoiled just because we're cooking another meal. Milo says, "Now you listen here, Sonny Jim. This is very important, all right? Your job is on the line. And not just your job, your career, too. Think about how long you've held this position." Thomas says, "You mean a day?" "Yes. And think about how good that day has been to you and how much I've paid you. You have not paid me yet. And think about that. Really think about it." And Ness just goes, "Uncle, you have to stop badgering our employees. This is how we lost the last chef. Please." He's like, "It's all right, niece. I have everything under control. Now then, on the count of 5, the two of you are going to run out to Lake Galifar and you're going to collect the largest fish that you can find. You will then prepare it for myself and the rest of the patrons. You will have 1 hour to do so."
Starting when? Now?
No. Thomas kind of looks to you but so then when do we start? Milo says, "In 30 minutes. And he looks to Ness and the orc woman and he says, "You all know the rules. Mandated break period starts now. We don't want you missing that." And the orc woman nods and goes, Yes, of course. Excuse me for a moment. I'll be outside." And she sort of steps away from the counter and walks. "I don't think I had the opportunity to actually introduce myself, by the way. My name is Alice. I'm the bartender here at the inn. I know he gives a strange first impression, but Mr. Marigold really does mean well. He's just eccentric."
I'll take that over dangerous any day.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Probably other folk around here?
Wears his heart on his sleeve. I like him.
Yes, well, when we come back from our break, I'll cheer you all on, I guess. I haven't really met you all to be honest, so I don't know that I'm going to be rooting for anyone in particular.
It's not.
Well, nobody likes a fence sitter.
I just have.
Johannes, you're
Agree with
getting
that.
really deep into this.
I'm fighting for my honor as a chef.
It's not a matter to me. It's more a bit of a disagreement.
Oh, I feel like I should not get involved in that as a stranger.
Guess he only arrived yesterday, so yes, he probably is a bit of a stranger to you. No matter. It's not a problem. It's purely personal.
Milo pipes up. Now, you there. Alice needs to go take her mandated break. I won't have any union busting around here. His niece, Ness, speaks up again.
Not what that means.
Uncle, we're not part of a union. You just read a book on workers' rights one day and decided that we get mandated breaks. It's great, but there's a lot more to that process. And he goes, we don't have to worry about that right now. I'll get around to reading the rest of the book someday.
You didn't even read the whole book. You just read part of it.
He read the part that mattered.
Hey, he's doing more than a lot of places.
That's very true.
Yeah,
The fact he
even
thought it was a
opening the
good
book.
idea, it speaks volumes of him.
Now then, the two of you are going to go on your mandated break, and I want the rest of you to do whatever it is you need to do to prepare for this event. We will all reconvene in 30 minutes. In the meantime, if there's anything else you need to ask me about myself, the inn, our patrons, our city, myself, feel free to let me know, and I would be happy to assist you.
I mean, I would love to talk to Milo a little bit more.
When Alice gets up and leaves, Dak does get up and kind of telepathically say something to Sad and say, I shall be back. I have a question to ask.
Sounds good.
And then we're going to follow after Alice.
All right. You follow Alice outside. She kind of heads out around the corner. There's like a bench, like a wooden bench there. There's a wording sort of scribbled into the top of it in memory of someone. She takes a seat at the bench, and you see it like visibly like shifts a bit under her weight. She pulls out this like old wooden pipe, and there's like a carving of a dragon on it. And she lights something within the pipe and takes a puff of it before noticing that you're there. Did you want some?
Dak looks at it and then slowly nods his head.
It's nothing wild, small bean. It comes from the fields. She hands the pipe over to you.
What fields?
The fields.
The-
Capital T, capital F.
You just think
Tough
Dak doesn't
fields.
know
This comes.
that you pop
This
up when they
comes from
smoke.
Killaman
He's got a
fields.
full
Don't you
inhale.
know?
and then just
Sorry. Yeah.
he's gonna fully inhale, and I guess nothing happens to him because he's technically not breathing.
Yeah. So make a This should be Constitution. Yeah. Just make a Constitution check for me.
23.
23. Yeah, it's an interesting feeling because you take in like this deep you feel like you're taking like a deep inhalation of it, but then there's no feeling of like your lungs, filling, no movement in your chest at all. And she the orc Alice says to you, is this your first time with a pipe? You're supposed to inhale and not just suck on the tip.
Dak hands it back. And I guess there's just gas leaking from his mouth.
Okay, you got some of it in there at least. All right.
Dak pulls out his the journal that he was writing in, and in Orcish, that might be a bit simplified because he probably writes at a 3rd grade level. It reads, "Hello, my name is Dak. Do you know a person by the name of Ralphus?"
You show the writing to her. Bit of surprise comes across her face. Oh, not much of a talker then, I guess, but you write in Orc. That's fascinating. Hello, Dak. My name is Alice, as I said before. I don't recall the name Ralphus. I know a Ronald. No Ralphuses, though. Is this somebody that you're looking for?
Takes the book, starts writing in it. Takes a little bit to write. There's a part where he is confused about a word, and then just writes something else, and holds it up again. No, he is no one of import. Anyway, do you know a Neil Nielsen?
He's imported. That's odd. It might be saying he's an immigrant. Niels. Oh, yeah. Mr. Nielsen actually checked in just a couple of days ago. He should still be here, if I'm not mistaken.
Dak smiles and then writes one last thing. Thank you for your help, Miss Alice. Right. Your pipe is well crafted, and I hope your day goes well.
She reads the words and kind of gives you like a toothy grin. He says, "You're very sweet, dear. You as well. Let me know if you need help with anything else."
Dak nods, bows, and then goes back. And then sits down next to Seth again. And Seth in your mind.
Yes.
I am aware of the presence of where Neil Nielsen may be.
Good for you, Dak.
Thank you, Seth.
Johannes.
Yeah,
You said you wanted to approach Milo Marigold.
I did.
He, after saying that he was open to speak to, he broke away from the group, walked over by the fireplace, and just is kind of standing by it like an NPC waiting for somebody to talk to him.
I'm gonna walk up to him and say, "Pseudo dragon, huh?"
Who, me?
No, the fire.
Oh, you're talking about the pseudo dragon. Yes, well.
I should have said. I should have specified. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Sometimes people get the two of us confused. We're both handsome devils, after all.
Oh, you know it.
It's gonna be it's gonna be Matt Berry vibes.
Okay, so now we can stop everything because I didn't know if anyone would pick up on it. When I created this character multiple years ago, the only notes I put down were, "This is Matt Berry. I'm putting Matt Berry in my tabletop RPG."
Good.
So I'm glad that you guys picked up on that.
That's what I was getting.
But it's,
Yeah.
it's
Love
somebody
that, Barry.
who's-
Yep.
This inn. How long have you been running it now?
Oh, I've been running it for about 2 years or so. It was originally one of the Gold Dragon Inns owned by the houses, but they were going to close it down. It was falling into disrepair, so I offered to buy up the inn for myself and start my own business here. And it's been going very good so far.
It seems like it. You've done a wonderful job at the place. Besides maybe the chef.
What is it exactly that's got you so hot and bothered about the chef that I just hired, who is taking the position that you were originally promised?
I believe it's the latter part of that.
I was gonna say, I think he just said it.
I think you might have just said it. Well, and also, it's a chef's honor. It's a very long code of ethics we try to follow. You know the Hippocratic Oath? Try doubling that.
There are not many hippos here in Ontario, actually, I'm afraid. Is that more of like a southern creature?
Oh, Yes, so I've heard.
Sure.
Must be more common where I'm from. Speaking of, where are you from? You spent a lot of time here in Passage?
Oh yes, I've lived here for many years, as a matter of fact.
What's your favorite restaurant in this city?
He thinks for a moment. There is a restaurant over in the Eastern Ward called Sarnella's Fang. Have you heard of it?
I can't say I have. I just arrived into the city today.
Well, between you and me, and he kind of looks around, they serve food there, and it's quite good.
Really?
Yes, really.
Astounding.
What kind of food?
Very good food.
Ah, yeah, the best kind.
Yes. You know, I must ask because my curiosity is piqued. The fellow who is currently acting as my head chef, did you know each other at any point before this moment? Were you and he buddies by any chance?
I wouldn't say that. I believe our friend Silva over there might be able to give a better rundown of our history.
Oh.
When he's pointing out, I am going to inherently, like, when we go into this break apart, we'll have taken up Thomas's invitation of going to a table to speak. But at least when he's pointing at me, I will be around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Is there some sort of a connection between the two of them?
I would say so, but it's not exactly my place to speak on the... I'll send Silva over here soon.
Yes, yes. Well, if there's any sort of a frivolity happening between the three of you, I won't get in your way.
When Johannes gestures over to Thomas and Silva talking, it still says "little bitch baby" behind him. It's just slightly smaller, and it stays behind him so he can't see it at any point. But anyone else looking at him can see that it says "little bitch baby,"
like a kick me sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Well, Milo, I did have one other question. Have you heard from Calgary recently? When I last talked with her, it had been, I mean, this is above table, but how many weeks has it been since we first started? Like, it has been a while.
It's been close to a couple weeks now. It hasn't been like, it definitely feels like a long stretch of time, but it's been like a couple weeks at
a couple weeks, yeah. But it hasn't been just like the other day. But have you spoken with Calgary at all recently? When last we talked, I was supposed to come right up here, but boy, life finds a way, huh?
Yes, well, Calgary and I believe I spoke with her a good 5 or 6 months ago. Yes, she is something else to be sure. I believe we were discussing the best way to create she was introducing me to this thing called a pierogi, some sort of like a breaded pastry with a potato inside. Something I'm not familiar with. These pierogies, something that I was not innately familiar with.
They're quite the delicacy. Sometimes you can put potatoes or some sort of cheese in the middle. The real secret? Dip it in horseradish.
Oh, don't insult me like that.
And what type of horse do you need to create this horseradish?
Well, a chef doesn't always give up his secrets now, does he? I don't know.
Keep it secret.
You can buy it.
Sir, I'll have you understand that it is illegal to eat horses within the city of Passage. I just want you to be aware of that. I know you're new here.
Oh, okay. No, thank you for the heads up.
Strictly forbidden.
Understood.
You will be thrown from the highest tower if they find out that you've been eating horses.
Okay, I will make sure to keep Baja and Hush Puppy far away.
Are those flavors of pierogi that I am not familiar with?
Not yet.
This conversation, I imagine, continues on for a fair bit. But as another long overdue conversation is about to begin between Silva and Thomas, I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it here for the evening.
That's okay.
But we will be sure to pick right back up from here the next time that we reconvene.
Yeah.
But for now, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. And remember, it's okay for a kitchen to have more than one chef. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is perfectly okay for there to be multiple chefs in a kitchen.
I'm
In
here
fact,
to tell you
sometimes-
otherwise.
Sometimes it is mandatory in order to keep up with the amount of people that are eating at a restaurant. See you guys next time.